Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Krendor, and welcome back to Krendor Talks in front of a shitty green screen. This isn't a series, this is just a thing that I do. But what I'm about to talk about is going to essentially be a series, and that is talking about various things that I've learned in the year of, well, I guess in 1 year that I've started playing Warhammer, because a year ago is when I started playing Warhammer again, and I kind of wanted to share some of that knowledge from my viewpoint as somebody who was into the hobby way back in like 2003 in 8th grade or whatever it was, and got back into it very recently. So I figured picking your army would be a great start, and this can work for Warhammer Sigmar, this can work for 40k, this can work for Warhammer Fantasy, this could work for whatever. Because the general I guess idea is that you should pick something that you like. And that sounds very basic. That sounds very simple. And I think it's true. All right? And I'm going to give you some reasons why. So, when I got into Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition, I got into it because I was in 8th grade, looking through the book, and you get to all these, all the different factions and races and stuff, right? If I can even find it, right? You got High Elves, Wood Elves, Dwarves, Skaven, Orcs, Goblins, Empire, Dark Elves, Bretonnian, Lizardmen, Beastmen, Tomb Kings, Vampire Counts, Demons, Chaos Warriors, right? You've got all these armies, and the one that spoke to me was Lizardmen. When I saw the Lizardmen, I was like, dude, this is my army. I want my army to be Lizardmen. I want to be a Lizardman, right? And that's what got me into it. And I think that is something that you need as a starting point. You need to decide, what army am I going to play? I'm going to pick one that I feel kind of speaks to me, right? So if you go to Games Workshop, and you just go to, I don't know, if you want fantasy, go to Sigmar. If you want 40k, go to the 40k section and just look through all the different factions, all the different units. There's Xenos armies, there's armies of Chaos, armies of Imperium, Space Marines, there's, on the Sigmar side, the armies of Death, the armies of Destruction, armies of Order, and the armies of Chaos. And there's a whole bunch of armies there. I mean, there's literally every faction you can find. I mean, there's a lot. And after looking through all of them, I would say then you should you start checking for start collectings, all right? And I would always start with a start collecting. And that's where it gives you a variety of units from that faction that you choose. Now, this is why I'm saying this, because let's say you're like, okay, I want to play, I don't know, let's, I'll do a Sigmar thing. Let's say, okay, I picked Sigmar, I want to play Skaven, right? Okay, Skaven. And we look here, and I'm like, alright, let's see, what looks cool under Skaven? The Hell Pit Abomination, right? You're like, oh, that model looks awesome. The Hell Pit Abomination, I'm gonna buy that. So you decide to get it, and it gets shipped to you, or you buy it at the store, whatever it is, and then you're like, what do I do? Right? You have no idea what you're doing. You just got into this. You thought it looked cool, and now you have no idea what to do. And that's the reason why I'd start with start collecting, because it gives you that variety to start learning. So with a start collecting, let me show you for Seraphon. It's like a box. It's like a box like this. And this one comes with Skinks, it comes with Pterodon Riders, comes with a Bastiladon, and I think a Skink Star Priest. There's also one that comes with a Carnosaur, Saurus Knights, Saurus Warriors, and it essentially, they're usually about 80 bucks, and they give you all these units to start building an army, and it's usually a pretty good starting point, hence why it's called the start collecting. So, well, if you were to buy, like, even like this guy in the back, the Carnosaur, right? You can see the Carnosaur, Saurus blood on Carnosaur right there. You're gonna build that and be like, how do I paint this? Or you might even be like, how do I build this? You don't know. But the easiest way, I think, to get started is to start on the little infantry units. And that was probably the biggest thing that helped me when I got started, was kind of figuring out how to do everything with Saurus warriors, because I was obviously playing Seraphon, getting back into it, lizardmen, same thing. And so painting 10 clan rats, if you were to buy Skaven, is going to help you for when you actually get to that Hell Pit Abomination. You'll be like, oh, I've built clan rats. I have some general knowledge of how to build Warhammer stuff now and miniatures. I have some general knowledge on how to paint now because I've kind of experimented on these clan rats. And instead of spending $60 on something and being like, oh god, I hope I don't mess it up, each clan rat's worth, you know, a lot less than that. So if you mess it up, you're like, hey, you know what? Whatever. You can even come back and repaint it later, and it's a lot less of a project to mess up on. And that's why I think starting on just the little guys is the best idea. If you don't want to get to start collecting, I mean, you can literally just get a box of the infantry as well. I think that's also a great starting point. And then maybe also, along with the infantry, get another model that you really want to paint. So maybe, you know, I'll swap the 40k now. Here you are, 40k. All right, Necrons. Let's go with Necrons, because I started building all my Necron stuff. And they don't have to start collecting Necrons, so terrible example. But let's say Necron warriors, right? All right, so I got a bunch of Necron warriors, and then I also buy a Catacomb command barge, right? So I'm like, oh, these Necron warriors, got like 10 of them, and you start painting and getting better with each one, and then you work your way up to that Catacomb command barge, and you're like, all right, you know, I've kind of taught myself how to paint and build and everything, and now my reward is I get to paint this really cool model. And that's kind of what I did with my Carnosaur as well up there. I'll even show you. I think he's on my Warhammer camera. Hold on. That one. This one. This one. This one. There it is. You can see. There's my Carnosaur. There's all my Necrons I've built. There's some other stuff. But you can see I've actually been going back and kind of repainting my Carnosaur that I painted a year ago because I've gotten better. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do some different like style paintings on different parts. I'm going to recolor his armor in. I'm going to do different colors. I'm going to shade it better. All these different things. Which is, you know, that's just getting better at anything. I mean, that's like, if I go back and watch my old videos on my main channel of me doing stuff from back then, I'm a lot better at it now because I've made over 2,000 videos. So, I mean, you get better over time and with practice. And that's all this is. You're learning how to practice. And the best way to learn how to practice and to keep being motivated to learn how to practice is to paint and build an army that you think is cool. And a lot of people might say, oh, but I want a competitive army, but I want to play the game, and I want to, you know, I want to be really good at the game and have like the highest tier army right now, right? That's fine, and you can do that, but I would still recommend doing one that looks cool, and after you kind of learn all the basics of building and painting and get used to it all, then go ahead and be like, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and, you know, do that highly competitive army that I want to do. And I was going to say, like, you don't even have to pick an army that looks cool, boiling it down. You could be infantry that looks cool, right? Maybe you don't even like a lot of the Lizardmen units, right? I don't know why you wouldn't. They're amazing. Except the Source Knights look kind of weird. Actually, a lot of the models are old. But let's say you're like, hey, you know what? Skinks look kind of cool, right? Maybe you like Skinks and you hate all the other Lizardmen stuff. Then just buy some Skinks. Maybe you like Clan Rats, but you don't like any of the other Skaven models. Just buy those Clan Rats and learn with those. I think my whole point is paint and build the little infantry first. So I guess you don't even have to really pick an army first. Just pick small infantry units that you can learn how to build and paint with, and you won't be upset with when you mess up, because you're going to mess up. Trust me, you will mess up. And then maybe you'll be like, hey, you know what? These Clan Rats are actually really cool, or these Skinks are really cool. I'm going to go ahead and buy some other Lizardmen, or Skaven, or Necrons, or whatever it might be, right? And so, as somebody who's done that for about a year, I've essentially painted the Skaven. I've been talking about Skaven so much. Not the Skaven. The Seraphon, the Beasts of Chaos, and the Auric War Clans, and now I just started on my Necrons. And all 4 of them, I think, are really cool. And I never once was like, oh man, is this a highly competitive army? But, you know, I also play more for fun, so it's one of those things where it's up to you, but I would recommend doing that if you're just getting started. So that's my first video in this part of the series. That's kind of a series that's not really a series of me just giving advice. I'm also going to be doing one on how to kind of paint, how to build, how to, I don't know, pretty much how to just get into Warhammer in general. But I thought this would be a good starting point. So if you want to know anything else, put it down in the comments section below. I might even do one after I learn how to play 40k of like how to get into Sigmar for 40k players, how to get into 40k for Sigmar players. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to get into each one and vice versa. So right now I'm trying to learn 40k as somebody who's only played Sigmar. But I'm open to both. And I think the main thing is just have fun. It's a hobby, right? It's supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. So just have a good time and build what you want to build, paint what you want to paint. That's my main tip right there. Okay? Okay. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell, blah, 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 blah. See ya.